Alright, boys, we are back, and it's time to continue year 3 going into year 4 with our Vancouver Canucks. We just had the year 3 draft, and we had an injection of fantastic Finns to our team. That's right. Raimo Tarkki, a right-wing sniper, and Ville Mackey, I think his name is. Hang on one second here. Yeah, there he is. Ville Mackey, a center playmaker at 76 overall, 4.5 stars. So great 2 pickups there for the Vancouver Canucks, considering that year 3 was a big disaster year. You know what I mean? We basically changed that that plan from being a retooling team into a full-on rebuilding team. And now when we look at our lineup compared with I don't know, a few years ago, you know, including both forwards and defensemen, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 4.5 star players now. All right, what is it? Yeah, 4 forwards and 2 defensemen. So going forward, we definitely have the players that we need. But a handful of these players, Seth Jones, especially Ryan Pulock, Anthony Mantha as well, they're still in the 60s, right? So, I mean, you're looking at least another 3 or 4 years to get better. So, these players are going to be players that are great for Vancouver once I move on from the GM spot. I still have at least another 2 years here. Another 3 years here, years 4, 5, and 6. And I don't want that to just be, you know, give up years where we're not going to make the playoffs. You play the young rookies and then you just wait for them to get good. We still got to be competitive here in Vancouver, all right? 1 year without the playoffs is more than enough. So we got to still see if we can be a playoff team with the players that we have. Because I don't think players like Seth Jones and Pulock and Mantha should start on the NHL team. They're not going to get a lot of points. They're going to stunt their growth, and they're only going to hurt the NHL team right now, okay? I want to see after we do the re-sign stage and when it comes to free agency, if we can actually build somewhat of a team that can be playoff competitive. I know we got the goaltenders fine, Windsor and Lack, all right? Not the greatest, but they'll be able to get it done if we have a good team around them. Al Montoya, okay, I got to sign these guys. I'm going to release Al Montoya, don't need you. Cedric Desjardins, damn, I know you guys want me to re-sign this guy. I've got to give him a 1-year deal, sure, why not? Alright, and just on cue, of course, I gotta blow my nose during a commentary. Hang on a second here. Alright, so we got Cedric, trying to get him signed for 1 more year. He can be like a backup or an AHL goalie, so we'll just keep him on the team. Edler, Hamuse, Tanev, Jocelyn, Murphy. Alright, so we know going into the season for next year, Edler, Hamuse, and Tanev are definitely playing, right? You got your 2 top 2 and 1 of your top 4 right there. But we still need to fill out the 3 other defensive spots. I don't think Jocelyn is ready to go. Murphy, no. Pulock and Jones, I mean, we can play them on the NHL team, but I think it'll be the same thing, if not even worse than Drouin, because these guys are in the 60s. Drouin last year, he was like 78 or 76, and he still had a bad year. So unless we are just accepting the fact that we're going to shit the bed, Pulock and Jones should play in the AHL. But you guys can give me your opinions on that. Should it be a shit the bed season or not? It'll be easier to come up with that conclusion once you see free agency, so just hang on for that. Warren Steele, I'm going to release you. Going to release all these guys we don't need. All these rookies, I don't need to sign them. They're only 3.5 or 2.5 star. Release you. Almqvist, I can release you. Yeah, only 2.5 stars. There you go. All right, so there's all the defensemen taken care of. So in free agency, we need to find a top 4 defenseman and 2 top 6s, okay? Right wingers, Dale Weiss. Yeah, I want to sign all these guys. What's the contract situation right now? Like, what's the year length? I guess Jonathan Drouin, 2 more years before I got to sign big deals. Oh, yeah, around 2 more years. Okay, I'm fine with that. All right, so go back to right wingers. Let's just get everyone on a 2-year contract, okay? And then in the year that we have to sign Jonathan Drouin, we can reestablish our franchise and sign the right players that we want, all right? But for the next 2 years, we'll go with some of these players here. Dale Weiss, he can get a spot on our roster for the next 2 years. Yannick Hansen, hang on, let me check out Yannick Hansen's stats. You know, I'm going to sign Yannick Hansen. He may be a player that I want to sign in free agency, and if I can sign him right now, I can sign him for a lot cheaper than I would in free agency, so I'll just do it now. All right, I got to blow my nose once again, of course. All right, there's Yannick Hansen done. Nicholas Jensen. Now, this guy's going to be a good player of the future, but not just yet. I think we should keep him, 2 years as well. I could jack it up to 3 years, but only give him 2 years because then maybe I can sign him to a good long-term deal at pretty cheap because I can snap him up while he's still maybe high 70s or something like that. But I can sign him and Jonathan Drouin at the same time, basically. All right, 2 snipers going forward. Even if he's only like a third-line sniper. I think he'd be good enough to be a second-line sniper, but even a third-line sniper would be fine. Raimo Tarkki, this guy, fantastic Finn right here, baby. When did I draft him? 4th overall? 5th overall. All right, I'm looking forward to this guy being a good future sniper for us. Kind of the same thing as Nicholas Jensen. I think he'll actually get a little bit better because he's 3 years younger and he's only like 5 points behind him. So Tarkki's got the better ceiling, I think. But we'll see. Only time will tell. Ho-Sang is still only 54 overall, so he's going to take a while to get better. He might not even get better. Daniel Sedin, Nathan Gerby, yeah, we're going to hold on to them for right now. We don't have to trade them at all. David Booth, yeah, we're going to re-sign this guy. This guy's a good player. 2 years, though, at 3.85. There you go. I don't want to jack up the salary cap too much here. Dynamite, yeah, Dynamite will get back in here. All right, if we need some toughness to protect those rookies back there on the 4th line. Jared Knight, I got this trade with the, who was it, Seth Jones deal. He was the 2nd-round pick in the Leafs for Kessel deal, but, or Sagan for Kessel deal. But, only 2.5 star. I don't need him. Release that player. There you go. Riley Sheen, I can release you too. There you go. David Booth, I already got you signed. Darren Peckham, this guy was like a sniper, I think, for us. Who was he? Or play power forward? 2-way forward. I drafted him 24th overall. Yeah, okay. There you go. 2-way contract. Very nice. Dynamite, Booth, and Peckham. All right, so there's all the left wingers taken care of. And then last but not least, the centers. You got Sedin, Kessler, who's only 86 overall. I want to get him back up there. Schrader, all right, so he's 81, so he's going to play this year. Yoke and Heck, we're not going to sign this guy. I can trade him. Manny Malhotra, how good is his stats here? Can he still get away with playing on the 4th line? Yeah, he can still play on the 4th line with those stats. Won't be anything special, but you know what? Manny can retire here, so I'll get Manny back on the team. Oh, my God, my nose! There you go. Hang on 1 second, boys. Jesus. Ridiculous. All right, so Billy Mackey, we got to re-sign this guy for another 3 years. Get on our team, you fantastic Finn. There you go. Connor Rankin, I can release you. There you go, all the way down here. Lucas Ulrich. Yeah, I don't know who this guy was again. 2-way forward, playmaker, 2-way forward. Drafted him 20th overall. All right, might as well get him back on the team. 2-way forward of the future, maybe. You never know. All right, there's all the centers taken care of, and I think that's everybody. Yeah, so I think I got everyone covered. What about goalies? They're already signed Clint Windsor and Cedric Desjardins. Yep, so we can simulate ahead here. I don't want to make this video too long. I want to get to free agency and honestly take a look at our roster and see who's out there. I still want to make this year a playoff-bound year if we can make it. It's going to depend on who's available in free agency. We're going to have to see and also see how much salary cap available we have left. All right, so I think that was Malhotra, Booth. No, okay, I forgot somebody there, but he did sign. All right, yeah, I think we got everybody. Yeah, everyone re-signed. All right, so I think we got everyone signed, and we still have $17 million to work with there, okay? So that is a good chunk of money. Yeah, we have everybody signed right now. So the way it looks, going into free agency, my nose is so damn stuffed right now, but whatever, I'll have to power through it, baby. Clint Windsor and Eddie Lack are going to be our goalies going forward, all right? Especially Windsor. We got to get him some time this year. He's only 21 years old, still got 5 more years of getting better, but let's make sure that for year, for year 5, he's definitely almost an elite goalie, you know what I mean? Maybe we can get him to an elite goalie if we play him this year. Defense, we got 1, 2, 3 defensemen that we can play. 2 top 2s and a top 4. We need another top 4 and 2 top 6s. Or if you guys think we should shit the bed, Pulock and Jones, okay? But I don't agree with that. We'll have to see who's available in free agency, but I still think we can be a competitive team with the players that we have. All right, and then when it comes to forwards, you got 1, 2, 3, 4. Jonathan Drouin is ready this year, no doubt about it. Even if he's not having a good year, he's still going to play. That's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We can play Mackey or not. No, I'm going to say not. He's only 76 overall. So that was like 10, 11. Yeah, we have about 10 or 11 good forwards that we could use, okay? So anyone that we get in free agency, it's going to be almost a replacement job, okay? So hang on a second here. Got to blow my nose again. 4th time in the video. All right, so we basically have a team that's, it's doable, right? We just need the defensemen. The defensemen are the biggest key right now. But when it comes to forwards, we do have a good enough lineup. The difference was from last year that Jonathan Drouin wasn't ready. But I'm hoping that this year, with the addition of Jonathan Drouin, that really stacks up that first line. Drouin, the 2 Sedin twins. Then the second line, Kessler, and you got, who was it on the right? Gerby, yeah, Gerby on the right, if we don't want to trade him, and then Booth on the left, right? But I don't know. I don't know if that's enough to get goals there. We may have to sign a better second line winger. All right. So, yeah, GM. Let me just, one more thing. I think I'm forgetting somebody there when I went to contracts. I think I'm forgetting about a forward there. Just want to make sure I'm not forgetting about a top 6 forward that I... Yeah, it was Booth. Okay, so the top 6 right now, Sedin Twins, Drew in, Kessler, Gerby, and then Booth. But I would like a sniper to be on that left wing or that right wing in the second line because you got a playmaker, two-way forward, and then power forward. I'd rather save Booth for the third line with Dale Weiss and like Schrader or Cassian, right? And then Malhotra, Hansen, and the other guy like Weiss or Cassian on the fourth line. All right, and then you get that second line left winger for, yeah, that's what we need. We need a second line left winger and 3 defensemen. Okay, $17 million, we can do it, but we got to see. So, let's just see who's available out there. Okay, let's see if it's a no-brainer, first of all. Let me just go to goalies first. Anderson and Dubnyk, all right. And no really good goalies out there. 3.5-star potential goalie, but 49 overall. We could sign him just to get a potential goalie, but he really won't do anything for us. Defenseman. All right, so this is what we need defensively. Michalek, the Phoenix Michalek. All right. Defensive defenseman, 85 overall, top 4 defenseman. Perfect player that I'm looking for to play alongside a Christopher Tanev. All right. And actually a pretty good penalty killer. All that good stuff that goes along with it. There's actually only 2 top 4 defensemen, so we got to decide. Is it going to be Michalek or Bergeron? Marc-Andre Bergeron. Offensive defenseman for Bergeron. I don't know. If I had to choose, I'd say Michalek, just because I always choose the defensive defenseman over the offensive defenseman. Unless you don't have an offensive defenseman. I don't know, though. I think Hamhuis and Edler, they're both two-way defensemen, right? So, yeah, it doesn't really matter. All right, well, we need one of these guys, Michalek or Bergeron, to play alongside a Tanev. Or we could switch up Hamhuis and Edler to have a top 2 on the first line and a top 2 on the second line, alongside of a top 4, Tanev and either Michalek or Bergeron. All right, so you guys can help me out with that. You're saving over $1 million with Bergeron, so there is some value to be saved right there. And then we need 2 more defensemen for the top 6. You got Hejda, Fistrick, Ballard, Falk, and Roosevelt, okay? Let's look at the guys that I think wouldn't be that bad. Falk is 26 years old. Defensive defenseman, really good defensive defenseman. All right, so a penalty killer. Nothing spectacular when it comes to offense, but I really like that defensive category. And he's a good fighter, and his discipline is 75, so it's pretty decent. Roosevelt, he's a bit more well-rounded, a bit better on the offensive side. All right, but he is older, 36 years old. Keith Ballard, all right, come back to Vancouver. I don't think so. No, we're not going to get Keith Ballard back. Fistrick, this guy, again, I think, what's it called? Yeah, he's got pretty good discipline as well, and he can fight as well. So, I mean, if you get Falk and Fistrick back there, 2 semi-young defensemen who can both be tough, good defensive defensemen, can handle the penalty kill, all right, and are actually pretty good, pretty well disciplined. And Jan Hejda, same thing as Roosevelt. So, if we're going for that more well-rounded defenseman, I think Roosevelt and Hejda, all right. Ballard, we're going to say no to. But if we're going for those 2 defensive defensemen, the guys who can kill penalties and stuff, Falk and Fistrick, all right. So, we need to decide. We need one of these 2 guys, Bergeron and Michalek, and then 2 of these 4 guys, or 2 of these 5 guys. Roosevelt, Falk, 2 of the 4 guys. Roosevelt, Falk, Fistrick, and Hejda. It's not going to be Ballard, all right? So, you guys can help me out with the defenseman right there. And then forward, second line, right winger. That's what we need. All right, so we can get Drew Stafford, but that's basically the same thing as a David Booth. You know what I mean? He's a two-way forward. He's not the sniper that I'm looking for. His individual stats may be slightly better than David Booth at this point, but I don't know, okay? So we're going to have to decide on that. Kyle Brodziak, he would be a defensive player. All right, same thing with Rich Peverly. So we could build up that third and fourth line, but then we'd have to sit players like Yannick Hansen, and we'd have to sit people because we have players that can already play that position. Spencer, Matchek, no. Ikonen, no. Clarkson. All right, so there's really no snipers out there, okay? There's some good depth players out there, don't get me wrong, but the best player is Drew Stafford. Now, is Drew Would Drew be better than, what's his name, David Booth? Look at his stats, 85s basically everywhere. Yeah, basically 85s everywhere. All right, so we'll just go back to contracts. And we will take a look to see where Drew Stafford could fit in. So it's going to be the Sedin twins and Drew in. Then Gerby, Kessler, and is it Booth or is it Stafford? All right. Booth's stats are pretty much exactly the same, all right? Exactly the same. He's 83 overall, Stafford's 82 overall. So, I mean, we could put Stafford on the third line alongside of who? Weiss and Schrader, right? And then you put, what's it called? Cassian, Hansen, and Malhotra on the fourth line. Or we can get a Rich Peverly and sit Manny Malhotra in the AHL, all right? Or send Yannick Hansen down the AHL, get Peverly and somebody else. All right, we can get those great checking players, but then we got to think, who are we going to replace? Who are we going to send down or who are we going to trade away? All right? It's got to be Cassian. The bottom six are going to be Weiss, Schrader, Cassian, Hansen, Malhotra, all right, and maybe Dynamite. So anybody that we sign forward-wise that's not that second-line left winger, all right, or that second line or that third line left winger, they're going to have to replace somebody else. So you guys have to help me out here, all right? So offensively and defensively, what can we do? I still want to make the playoffs with the Vancouver Canucks. I don't want to make this a rebuild year. All right, we had the trade deadline last year that we got Sam Reinhart and Seth Jones. We had the really good draft where we got Tarky and Mackey. So in my opinion, we already had our rebuild. It was a quick rebuild. We got the players that we needed. I want to see if we can try and make the playoffs here in year 4. So, due to that fact that we're trying to make the playoffs, who should we get to improve the Vancouver Canucks here? Remember, 3 defensemen and at least 1 forward. Who should it be? And I will see you guys in the next video.